Right, next one. This is called For One Night Only. It is by Magical Rehash 2 or Magical Rehash the Second, not sure. Or maybe just Magical Rehash E, because it's two I's, Roman numerals. I found it funny. This one is being read by Ben, so whenever you're ready, Ben, take it away. There are no content warnings, so that's bizarre. Let's go.
Right, cool, so let's begin. So this is it. Andrew spoke, the question mark at the end, like the single pebble of the the single pebble of the gravel road that was his voice. He outstretched his hand and grasped Tom's firmly.
Oh, this is
looking up to
proper
meet his
fanfiction
gaze.
already. This is like doesn't make sense proper fanfiction. I love it.
I think it does make sense. I think I just can't read. Yep, looks like it's settled. Tom looked back at Andrew and shook, taking in his form like an amateur sculptor admiring the work of a master. Tom was nervous. He didn't know how he could lie his way through this one. He'd replied to the ad that Andrew had posted, looking for another wrestler to perform with him at the Blizzard Courts, the most prestigious and chaotic wrestling event of the year. He had the talent to perform in comedy, but here he was in front of the famous wrestler Andrew, stage name Balthazar Dark, telling him he could wrestle, when in truth, Tom had no clue how to do it. He couldn't help himself. He just had to meet with Andrew. From the first moment he saw Andrew perform, those blank eyes like a void of wonderment, Tom knew that he would never be the same again. However, he was put into a position he couldn't get out of.
Dodgy.
We off then. Andrew's words broke Tom out of his uneasiness. To where? He replied, dazed. To the rehearsal? Andrew was uncertain. Tom seemed to be in a world of his own. He pondered what Tom was thinking as they walked along to the venue, watching his lips as he spoke, lost in the way he formed words. The conversation...
Sorry, can I just say that there's a lot of watching lips in this? Like,
you've got lovely lips, mate. What can I say?
We just watch each other's lips.
You've got lovely lips. So you clearly use lip balm. That does it for me in the downstairs parts. So.
I think what we can take from this is that everyone needs to move closer to the camera so that our viewers can watch their lips.
Yeah. Where was I? I'm just trying to work out where I'm up to. He pondered what Tom was thinking as they walked along to the venue, watching his lips as he spoke, lost in the way he formed words. The conversation also eclipsed in the thick haze of tension between the two. Tom noticed the deep silence from Andrew, but couldn't stop talking, hoping somehow he'd say just the right thing, longing to make those distant eyes sparkle. Aww. Behind the curtains, they disappeared backstage for the run-through, but upon turning around, Tom noticed Andrew had vanished from sight. As that thought settled in, the organizer told him they had 5 minutes till stage time. Tom rushed back to see if Andrew was outside when he heard a voice behind him. "Where do you think you're going?" Balthazar Dark replied, his steely eyes piercing through Tom. "It's time." And this is, I just want to point out that was written in the SpongeBob meme format, you know, where he's like...
I think you'll find it's the Balthazar Dark tweet format.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Oh, okay. Right, I'm onto it now.
It's exhausting to write.
Just because I tried to Google it before because, like, I've not heard of said Balthazar Dark, and it came up with a guy who is the chair of a he's married to someone called Mrs. Balth.
You've officially done more research about a character that Andrew wrote and performs as. That's fantastic. Andrew, we need to change the name.
I'll try and find the profile where that came up. There we go. He took Tom's hand for the second time, somehow firmer than before, sending chills up both their spines. Tom couldn't speak and allowed Balthazar to lead him to the stage. He stepped up, suddenly fearless. Balthazar Dark watched him walk off, admiring the fire he had started within his new partner. The lights were blinding, but that didn't stop him. He started the set, promising the room a night of wrestling they'd never forget. It wasn't until Tom introduced his partner for the evening, Balthazar Dark, that the true worry kicked in. He couldn't wrestle. What was he going to do? Before he could act, Balthazar Dark took the stage. I'm sorry, but I can't do this. I can't Tom quietly said away from the mic, before wheezing as he was suddenly chopped by Balthazar. I see your potential. You can, Balthazar replied coldly, but Tom noticed his eyes were shining with hope. Tom realised in this moment that Andrew had known all along. He had nothing to fear. His passion reignited. He looked back at his partner and said, chop me again. Balthazar obliged, and Tom, reeling from the pain and the sound, turned to Balthazar and retaliated. The chop echoed across the room. Then he saw Balthazar's face light up, having seemingly taken up the gauntlet. At this point, Balthazar didn't hold back, and neither did Tom. Throwing each other across the room, the wrestling was both graceful and raw, perfectly matching each other's moves,
Monday
feeling
Night
each
Raw,
other
you
in
could
both
say.
body and mind. Eventually, they tired, slamming into the floor, their breaths heavy, rhythmic, and their faces mere inches from each other. They laughed and then paused, the atmosphere feeling heavy. Slowly, Balthazar reached for Tom's face and kissed him passionately, the shock hitting him harder than the chops. They embraced until they had to break away, breathless. Balthazar, Tom started. Say my name and his in the same breath. I dare you to say they taste the same. Balthazar cut him off, and Tom responded by kissing again. The spark between the two fusing into a flash of lightning. Lost in the moment, the two didn't notice as the curtains were softly shut, as the staff left them to their moment. Not that they cared. They had each other to explore in the dim light, a new life partner.
Wow.